Well, a few weeks ago, I shared some books that I have on my bookshelf, reminding you that, hey, we're on these online calls. I know many times I'm distracted by the books that are behind people as I'm on these online calls and I'm looking at them on the screen. But additionally, even when I go and meet with somebody in their office, I'm always distracted by the books that they have in their office. Maybe I'm the only one that does this. But if you do, you may be interested in this. So I thought I would share some additional books that are on my bookshelf that you may be interested in. The very first one I'm going to share with you is this book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is a book that I got probably when I was fresh out of college. I first started my corporate career, and it's a book that I recommend to everybody. When I do my training programs and workshops, I'll ask the group, who here has ever heard of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey? And as the years go by, less and less people have even heard of this book. So if you have not heard about this book, I highly encourage you to read it. These are really the 7 foundational principles that will apply for you not only in your career, but through the rest of your life. This applies to everything in your life, these 7 habits that highly effective people do. So if you've not read this, make sure that you go out and get it. Even if you don't read the entire book, you should understand each of the 7 habits as principles and the concepts that go along with those. Another book that I'd like to share is called The 1 Minute Manager. This is also an oldie but goodie, and there's a couple of reasons why I like this. First off, it reads like a story. It's a very thin book, as you can see. I mentioned before, I'm not a strong reader, so to read a thin book is encouraging to me because I can get through it pretty quickly. Additionally, it reads like a story, so you get to read this book and learn at the same time, and even when it may not seem like you're learning at the time. I certainly am. And what it talks about is really these 3 principles is about how to lead people on your team, or really manage the people on your team in a very dignified way to maintain dignity, but also holding people accountable. It talks about things like 1 minute goals, 1 minute reprimands, and 1 minute praises when it comes to how to lead people in a way that motivates them to want to do a good job, which is what I'm all about when I talk about authentic leadership. Lead in a way that people want to follow you. And this is a fantastic way to do that. It's a book I recommend to many of the leaders that I work with. And the last one I'll share here, not to overwhelm you with too many books, is a way lesser known book. This book is called Zap. This book talks about how leaders can either zap energy into their teams and the people who work for them on their teams, or that they can sap the energy out of them. And it talks about some principles that go along with how to lead your team in a way that really energizes them, which is all about how I teach the leaders to work as well. Now, it's funny, as I pulled this book, I've actually got some sticky notes in here to save pages for me. I actually went through, I've read this book has been so helpful. Back in 1999, I have actually the typewritten notes that I typed up because this book was so powerful to me, so that I can have quick reference to the concepts in this book. So another book I recommend for anyone who is leading teams of any way, make sure you go out and get Zap. It may be a little difficult to find, but if you can find it, it's going to be worth the read and help you with your leadership. This all goes along with what I've been talking about all the time is authentic success, because you and I, we both deserve authentic success with confidence.